Namaste, everybody. Welcome once again. Today we have a very interesting discussion. We are joined by two of the stellar people from the nakshatra world. They always like to discuss about the stellar aspects, which is the stars. So we have Dr. Aditya Togi and Dr. Kanoli Sandeep Krishnan. Welcome, both of you. We are continuing with our series on the Guru Purnima lectures. And this is one of those lectures where you'll all be enlightened about nakshatras. So when we talk about nakshatras, what attracted me to come and discuss about nakshatras was the myths and the legends that were associated with the nakshatras. That is what was fascinating for me. And whenever I started studying more about nakshatras, I found that these Puranic legends and myths were powerful capsules of astronomical and astrological anecdotes. For example, the most popular story which is there is Chandra or Soma, the moon god, is supposed to say that his favorite wife was Rohini Nakshatra. So, and when I started delving more and with my discussions with Dr. Togi and Dr. Kanoli Sandeep Krishnan, over many, many years now, we have been associated for more than 6 to 7 years, I would say, or at least 6 years. So we have started to understand many of these concepts better. But what always fascinates me is these stories and anecdotes and these Puranic legends are encoded or embedded in themselves some powerful observational wisdom of our ancients. And these secrets were transported through oral traditions. And that is why we need to go and delve deeper and understand why did our ancients say that it was the moon god's favorite wife, Rohini, might have some astronomical wisdom, which is observational wisdom of our ancestors that might have some connotations there. So let us further go and let us see and let's study from Dr. Togi what is his research work. Interestingly, this research that he's bringing today, and we were discussing just before we started recording this, he's bringing it after 50 years. It was published in some astronomical journal, and he came across this, and it is really fascinating. So thank you very much for coming and sharing this with us, Dr. Togi. So please go ahead, and you can take it from here.
Thank you, first of all, Dr. Pai and Sandeep, for your valuable time. Time is precious, and coming and talking and having discussion and helping me, giving a platform. I think thankful to Dr. Pai, thanks to Sandeep for both of your time. And I really didn't realize that it has been almost 6.5 years, Dr. Pai. Yes, now when you said that, it's exactly 6.5 years, 6 years, 6 months about that we know each other. Time flies. Anyway, we are slowly progressing to our deathbed. That's nice. And hopefully it was a good journey. It is a good journey. It is a good journey. I think we learned a lot from each other, correct? I don't know. I learned a lot from you. I don't know about you, Dr. Pai. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. We are all playing out the karmas, right? So yeah.
True. Anyway, so let's talk about lunar occultation of nakshatra and yoga taras.
I just wanted to add, Aditya, that we are all students of this divine science for life. I don't think we can say we have learned a lot.
True. I think the more you learn, it's like the more you learn, the more you learn that you don't know. So it opens up so many different new avenues and new thinking. Anyways, so about nakshatras and yoga taras, we know yoga tara is a dominant star of that particular nakshatra. There are 27 nakshatras, we know. So there are some definitions which I will go, and especially the 27 nakshatras came into the picture probably because moon will take 27 days to go around the earth. So if you see the moon near a star, to come back to the same star, the moon will take about 27.3 days, 27-28 days exactly. So that's why the moon period is 27-28 days. Whatever ancients did was they divided that sky, instead of doing rashis, which was practiced in the West, they divided the sky into 27 parts, and each part called as nakshatras, 27 or 28 parts. So that's how nakshatras would have come into picture. And then if you go into the Middle East, they also called as 27 manzils, manzils they call. Similar concept there. So that's about moon. Now, what is ecliptic is nothing but sun also. If you keep the earth at the center, of course, earth goes around the sun, but if you keep earth at the center, sun goes around the earth. And that's why in 1 year, you will find when the sun is near to a star, in 1 complete year, the sun will be back to the same star. And the path that it takes to go around in once, that path is called as ecliptic. And in this ecliptic, Western astrologers or astronomers would have divided this into 12 equal parts, and they call each a sign, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, so on and so forth. And then they have this constellation, and then this band, this path. Why it is called band? Because all the planets which we see are either all go into little bit where the sun goes around, along the same region, all other planets are also going in the same line. It's not that the sun, if the sun is going around some path, it's not that the other planets will be too north or too south of it. It will be a little bit north and south of that same position, of that same line. So it's like a band, it's, instead of calling it as a line, you can call it as a band, and that is called a zodiacal band. And that's where this zodiacal band consists of 12 constellations, we know, from Aries till Pisces.
Aditya, I just want to add here that, if people are always wondering, we have 88 constellations in the sky, why we're only using 12 signs, this is a big reason why.
Correct.
The simplest basic out there,
Correct.
simplest basic out there.
So there are a total of 88 constellations in the sky, but you can consider this as a whole big sphere. And then 88 constellations are spread over all across this whole sphere. But then in that sphere, there is a band, and that band consists of 12 signs. 12 to 13 signs if you take Ophiuchus also, 12 to 13 signs. That's why 12 zodiacal signs we say. So out of this 88, we have 12 zodiacal signs, and then 76 are other constellations. For example, Ursa Major, Big Dipper, which we call, is in the far north. Draco, Hydra, Crux, which is the smallest constellation, that is far south. So all those, there are different constellations everywhere. But these 12 constellations are special. Why? Because the sun passes through that, and all other planets passes through that. So these are all typical definitions. And I've just given a sheet where you can see these are all the yogataras of different nakshatras. We know there are 27 nakshatras, and there are different yogataras of each nakshatras, and they are ecliptic latitude. So at Aries 13 degree 49 minutes, you have Ashwini's yogatara. Okay. And of course, there are twins, Ashwini's twins, we know. The other star is at 10 degree. Similarly, the Ardra's yogatara is at Gemini 4 degree 54 minutes. Magha's yogatara is at Leo 5 degree 59 minutes. So this gives you, this is all sidereal position, by the way, to mention that. Okay. Hasta's yogatara is at Virgo 16 degree 53 minutes. So we have, I think I've done a long back, I don't know, years back, this video where I was giving all the information of different yogataras. Similarly, the other yogataras, their star, which star? So Jeshta, the yogatara star is Antares, found in Scorpio constellation at 15 degree 55 minutes sidereal position. So all those yogataras position I have given you. Out of all these 27 yogataras, if we talk which yogataras are occulted by moon. Now, what do you mean by occultation? Occultation means these stars are far away from us. Moon is between these stars and Earth. So sometimes when moon is going around the Earth, it blocks that star. Okay, it completely blocks that star. And it is 5 stars which it blocks. One is Aldebaran, which is Rohini Nakshatras Yogatara. Regulus, which is Magha Nakshatras Yogatara. Spica, which is Chitras Nakshatra Yogatara. Antares, Jeshta Nakshatras Yogatara. And Alcyon, which is the brightest star in Kritika Nakshatra. It's the Kritika Nakshatras Yogatara. So I came across this paper in Journal of British Astronomical Association in the year 1972. It was published, so almost 50 years back. And he gives the position of these Yogataras, Aldebaran, Regulus, Spica, Antares, and Alsoya. This is latitude and longitude of those. Okay, latitude and longitude of those Yogataras. And you can note those positions here. Some stars are north, some stars, the plus is basically north and minus is basically south. Now we will come to a series of occultations. Now, lunar occultation, that means occultation means blocking by moon. So lunar comes from the word moon. Occultation means occulting, basically it's blocking that star. So this person, this group, or this Conan and Mies, has basically tabulated when moon occults Aldebaran, from what period to what period. And they have done this table for Aldebaran, for Regulus, for Spica, for Antares, and for Alcyon. And what they have done is, they have, for their research purpose, they have done it from, considered the years from 1940 January till 2050 December. They have taken that period for their research, 1940 to 2050. That means 110 years data. So in that, from 22nd September 1940 to 1st March 1944, the moon is continuously going to occult Aldebaran. And then he has given how many times it will occult, 47 times it will occult. Then after that, in 1959, it will do 16 March 1959 to 19 September 1962. It will occult 48 times. Similarly, he has tabulated all those things, Now, last time when you see the moon was occulting Aldebaran from 29th January 2015 to 3rd September 2018, 49 times. Now, if you want to see lunar occultation of Aldebaran, you have to wait till 18th August 2033 to 23rd February 2037. So you have to be up till that time. So now moon is not going to occult Aldebaran soon. You have to wait for another 11 years. So he has given, and he has given, this number tells how many times it is occulting. Same thing he has done for Regulus.
One question I have, Aditya, here is that, so why, I thought, so just a basic layman's question. So a person could be thinking, isn't moon occulting Aldebaran every year? Is that not happening? Like when moon is transiting over Rohini, is that not happening?
No,
by
not
default?
every year. Only in these special years it will. 2015 to 2018, and then 2033 to 2037. So right now we are in 2022. It is not occulting Aldebaran right now.
Okay, that's good to know. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. Thank you. And then these are the dates for Regulus, so and so forth. Okay. So I guess I given you. Is that clear, everyone?
Yeah, very clear.
Am I making sense? Okay. So for Regulus, all those dates. Similarly, for Spica, Antares, Alcyon, he has given all those dates. Okay. Of course, now you see that here it was from 2005 to 2007. So this looks like about 2.5, not even 2.5 years, 1.5 years. If you see 2024 June to 2025 November. So it looks like about 1.5 years or something like that. For Alcyon, you may think that it is going from 1949 to 1955, something like that, from January, or about 4.5 years to 5 years, 6 years, something like that. 2005, 16 Feb to 19 December 2010. So this is like 5.5 years. So the span is different for different star. Okay, so that can be completely different. So you can see that
the closest star where the occultation is in the near future, we might only expect Alcyon occultation, right? 2023.
2023.
And
5th
Spica.
September 2023 to 7th July 2029. So that means you have to wait for another 1 year to see Alcyon's occultation. Okay. And remember, again, I'm not going to depth. These stars, when you see occultation, sometimes you may see it from different parts of the earth at different times. So this occultation sometimes starts with, from the northern pole, then it's only North Pole people can see, because these are very occult, small degree variations, only North Pole can see. Then finally, as time goes by, from 2023 to 2029. So as times go, maybe by the time of 2024, then it comes south, something like that. And then people in Canada may be able to see, people in US may be able to see, people in India may be able to see, people near equator may be able to see, people in, so depending upon geographic location. Anyway, I'm not going to that. So that's how it starts. Sometimes things starts from north to south, and sometimes south to north can happen. Same thing, your eclipse, Saros cycle, which they call eclipse, also happens after regular interval. It's a family of eclipses. So if eclipse happen now, so after 18.5 years, there will be another eclipse that will be happening from the same family. So there are different families, and that also first you can see that there's a shift in that cycle to from north to south or south to north. Anyway, that's a little bit detailed, but that's how it is actually.
Aditya, I just wanted to add something here. These occultations can also show some major world events that can happen during these occultations. Like, for example, if you see the occultations of the moon with the Antares, you can see, many wars can have happened during these times. If you see, like 1967 to 1972, India had a,
71 war with
71 war.
Pakistan,
Then
yes.
you see, then you see 1991, you can see there is the Middle East war. Then
Correct.
you see 2005 to 2010, we had the Lehman Brothers, the meltdown that happened. So are any global events that can see, because so many times the moon is occulting Antares, which is Jyeshta Nakshatra,
Correct.
almost 68 times. So do you
Correct.
think that frequent occultation of that can lead to, because Jyeshta is all about Indra, and
Exactly.
it's battles and all of those things. So have you seen anything patterns like it is happening with Spica? Maybe there is a lot of Spica is connected to Vishwakarman, so a lot of development progress in terms of construction. Any such trends that probably we
can be, but I've not yet done my research on that and try to see. That's a good point actually, to think on those lines. That maybe should be our one more video on that, to try to think. But it looks like that, it looks like probably like that. So there may be some of course we cannot take only moon, but also take about different planetary positions as a picture of a whole, with the Jupiter, with Saturn, with other Rahu Ketu's position, and then probably it will give a much more clearer picture. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
If you're seeing certain things can overlap also. If you look at the occultations are happening with Antares, and also maybe around the same time period almost. If you see,
Correct.
there might be some
Correct.
overlapping
Correct.
happening with those years as well.
And I think also if the occultation, if you combine that with eclipse and all that, it could be quite powerful also, right?
Powerful. True.
Yeah.
True. That's definitely a point of research. Maybe I should study something on those lines in the coming months, and probably that has to be checked. Good point. Yes. So how I was just giving you why, if you take Aldebaran from 16th March to, for example, from 16th March 1959 to 19 September 1962, you calculate how many. I'm just showing you why this number 48 comes up. So from 16 March 1959 to 19 September 1962, if you calculate, there are a total of 1,283 days. And moon takes about 27.32. So that means if you divide 1283 divided by 27.32, it will be 47. Okay, so that means, and even this date, 19 September 1962, you have to, that day again moon is in Aldebaran. So that means you have to add one more. So that's why how these people come up with these numbers here. It's basically taking these two dates, finding the number of days between that two dates, how many number of days have passed, divided by 27.3, which is the moon's rotation period, and whatever quotient you get, answer you get, plus one if you do, you will get this number. And that's how they come up with that number. Okay, that means what? That means it is meeting Aldebaran from 1978 to 1981, this date, it is meeting Aldebaran 44 times. So that's how it is. Every time it has so it's like a series. When if you go on occulting Aldebaran, and then it will not occult for a few years. Then it will go again, it will start to occult Aldebaran, not occult for a few years. Okay. So anyway, I hope that is clear. So if you take sum of all this occultation from 1940 to 2050 and add them up, you will come up with that moon has occulted Aldebaran 284 times, occulted Regulus 223 times, occulted Spica. Now here, if you see Spica, it is from 1st September 2049 till it goes in 2051. So it is going beyond 2050. So that's why he has not entered this. But if you really calculate from 1st September 2049 to 31st December 2050, if you do that, and I've done that for my own research, and it is 18. So that's how I get 241 times, because I'm just considering this 110 years data. Of course, if you take next 110, there'll be plus minus of some values here and there. But most strikingly, what it has come is it has met Antares 409 times, and it has met Alcyon 470 times. Now, Antares and Alcyon, as we said, Antares is Jyeshtha and Alcyon is star in Kritika Nakshatra. Both these stars have got something special relation with moon in astrology. So take a pause and think, what is Alcyon? What is the relationship of Kritika Nakshatra with moon? What is relationship of Scorpio or Antares, which is a Yogatara of Scorpio, in fact, not only Scorpio. Antares is a Yogatara of Jyeshtha, the entire Scorpio, it's Alpha Scorpio constellation, star, brightest star in the sky.
Kritika is where moon gets exalted, Scorpio is where moon gets debilitated.
Exactly. So these are the 2 points where moon is frequently getting meeting this star, and that's exactly where you have moon's exaltation and moon's debilitation point. Not debilitation point, I will say, because debilitation points happen at Scorpio 3 degrees, which is, of course, in the equal system, it falls under Vishaka Nakshatra. But in the Jyeshtha Nakshatra, Jyeshtha, we know moon is in Jyeshtha, and there are all those characteristics of that. And moon exalts in 3 degrees of Taurus, which comes in Kritika Nakshatra. Then why people say Aldebaran is or Rohini is the favorite wife of moon? Now, if you take this ecliptic in that chart, you may have seen that the latitude of Aldebaran is minus 5.464, approximately minus 5.5. What does that tell you? That tells you, though it is far from the ecliptic, still moon is occulting that star. So though it is the farthest from the ecliptic, but still moon is occulting that star. So it shows that though it is far, moon still likes to meet that star. So that's why moon has got a strong love for Aldebaran. And that's why, and Aldebaran is basically it's a bright star in Taurus constellation. So that's why people have always associated moon with Aldebaran. If you see Aldebaran, when you take a look to Antares and Aldebaran, both are red star. Both are exactly opposite to each other, in fact, because it is 15 degree Taurus. If you see your some slides back, I've shown the celestial latitude of, maybe we should go there. You see this Aldebaran is Rohini, 15 degree 56 minutes Taurus, and where is Jyeshtha, 15 degree 55 minutes Scorpio, exactly 180 degrees opposite. Both are red stars, exactly opposite to each other. When you look at them, they also look almost similar bright. And one thing is, it is a little bit far from the ecliptic compared to Antares, but still moon is getting close to it. It's like going and kissing it, even though it is far, traveling such a long distance to meet his lover. So that's why Aldebaran is considered to be, having a strong love for, or moon is having a strong love for Aldebaran.
I think the story is like moon was paying more attention to Aldebaran, and Jyeshtha was the one who was jealous of her, right?
Jealous of her, exactly. Yeah. And and moon and Aldebaran, if you see, both looks the same type, same intensity, everything looks very similar, same red star, exactly opposite 180 degrees. So it's like, rivalry to each other. Both look the same. Why he's going and hitting her so much,
Interesting, yeah.
Even though if she's far.
Yeah.
So anyway, so when they say that Aldebaran, so this is, I thought, maybe an interesting point. because about frequent occultation and moon's exaltation and debilitation thing story related to that. Now, switching a gear a little bit, I will like to see if you see here these types of dates if you see 78 to 81 moon was occulting Aldebaran. After 81, 1996 till 2000. Do you see that? What is the number of years here?
It's 19, right? 19 years.
19 years, approximately little less than 19,
Yeah,
18
little
point
less than
something,
19.
little less
April,
than
right? Yeah, yeah.
Here also it's like about 18, 19 years.
Yeah.
Take this one now.
That is 86. So 19 again.
19 again, correct?
Yeah, 18, 19 years.
Take this one.
That is 18 again, 18 years, right?
18 years, yes.
18, 19, yeah.
Now take this one. For example, I will say this is now, it's a February to 31 to 32 to 43 to 44. For example, maybe
yeah.
I will something like this, 93. So it's approximately, you can say 12 years.
Yeah.
Typically 12 years, 10 years, something like that, 10 to 12 years. So 18, 19 years plays a very important role. For example, here you see
that's
December,
10 years.
this also looks like about 10 years.
Yeah.
9 years, 9 point something. 9 years, 19 years, 18 years. This is very specifically, you have to think about what planet comes into mind when you say something that is very interesting about 18, 19 or half of that. If you take 18, half of 18, 19 is approximately 9 or 8.5 something, 9 years or something, 9 point something.
Yeah.
18, 19 years, half is what? 9 to 9.5 years.
That's interesting, yes.
So that's which planet you think is can be important. For example, 18, 19 years is for what? Which planet?
That's a Rahu Ketu cycle, right?
Rahu Ketu cycle, exactly.
Yeah.
So there is some relationship with Rahu Ketu. What is that? You will see that if you take the dates when moon is occulting Aldebaran, and if you say where was, see, I'm just talking about Rahu. You can say when I'm talking about Rahu, Ketu is exactly opposite of Rahu. So here I'm not talking about Ketu. I'm just mentioning Rahu. So Aldebaran, whenever moon occults Aldebaran, I was taking those dates and seeing where Rahu falls. So Rahu falls in Virgo and Leo part, that part of the sky. Okay. So moon occulting Aldebaran when Rahu is in Virgo or Leo. Similarly, Ketu has to be in Aquarius or Pisces. As I said, I will talk only about Rahu because Rahu Ketu is 180 degrees. What does that mean? That means when Rahu Ketu has to be in 4/10 axis from the moon to occult Aldebaran. Similarly, if you take Alcyon, same thing. Antares is what? Falls in Scorpio. If I take those two dates of when moon occults Antares, I checked where the Rahu position falls. It is either in Pisces, Aquarius, or Capricorn. So if you put what is Aquarius, take the middle sign, Aquarius, and Antares, 8 and 11, 4 houses apart. So again, when moon occults Antares, Rahu again has to be in the 4/10 axis. Of course, third house also as well as fifth house, but I'm just saying that 4/10 axis comes into picture. Similarly, Alcyon, same story happens. Because I said Alcyon is like 5.5 years, correct? It's the span is 5.5 years. So that means Rahu will go 3-4 signs in that. So that's why it is. Alcyon is what? Taurus. Rahu has to be, if you take middle signs, Aquarius, Capricorn. So again, moon, when moon occults Alcyon, Rahu Ketu has to be in again 4/10 house axis. When it occults regulars, I saw that Rahu has to be in Leo Aquarius. When Rahu is in Leo, what is Ketu in Aquarius? When Rahu is in Aquarius, Ketu is in Leo. So basically, that means what? When moon is occulting Magha or regulars, Rahu Ketu is in first 7th axis. Similarly for Spica. So all these occultations happen when the short story is all this occultation happens when moon is either with Rahu Ketu, that is first 7th axis, or moon is when Rahu Ketu is 4/10 axis. Then only these occultations will happen. So you can say that occultations of these stars will happen when moon is, or Rahu Ketu is in Kendra from the moon, or moon is in Kendra from Rahu Ketu. Both works. Okay, so that is what my slide is here, maybe. So in summary, you can say Rahu Ketu first 7th house or 4th 10th house is where all this 5 stars occultation happens. The point to take is moon has to be in Kendra position from Rahu Ketu. Okay. Okay. Let's see what is Rahu Ketu. We know that what is Rahu Ketu? Simple words. Sun, Earth is going around the sun. Fine. What is Rahu Ketu? Rahu Ketu is nothing but moon is going around the Earth, but of course these two planes are not same. They are inclined. Now for here it is shown as it is 5-degree incline, very low inclination, but still here for exaggeration they have shown this is 5 degrees. It definitely doesn't look like 5 degrees, but for point of understanding, this is shown. So this is Rahu, where the moon is going towards north, and this is Ketu, where the moon is going towards south. So those two planes are basically intersecting, and that intersection point are basically Rahu Ketu. We know that. Now remember, moon, fine. So from Rahu, or you can say when moon is 4th house from Rahu. From Rahu, moon is in the 4th house. What does that mean? So Rahu is here, moon is in the 4th house, means it will be at the highest point, highest northern point. When moon is in the 7th house from Rahu, that means moon is with Ketu. When moon is in the 10th house from Rahu, what does that mean? It is at the southernmost point. Okay. So moon position with Rahu Ketu in Kendra is fine, but it has got all meaning. When moon is with Rahu Ketu, it is exactly in that same plane of Earth, Sun Earth, and the Moon Earth plane. When moon is in the 4th house from Rahu, then it is at the northernmost point. When moon is in the 10th house from Rahu, it is at the southernmost point. So that's why this position becomes very important in a chart. Moon with Rahu Ketu and moon 4th from Rahu and moon 4th or 10th from Rahu. When moon is 10th from Rahu, it automatically means Ketu is from Ketu, it is 4th. So I'm not putting Ketu, but you can make the same results for Ketu. Now, whenever you see this moon relationship with Rahu Ketu, you will see that in charts where you have those combinations, when moon is with Rahu Ketu or moon is in the 4th and 10th of Rahu Ketu, very significant results. Now I said these people are not all everyone mentally affected, no, but very weird behavior these people have. And I was talking to a couple, few days back, and he was saying that he has seen, I don't know, he has seen maybe I don't know how many charts, but he said he also confirmed that in his experience what he has seen. He just told me in his experience I've seen that when I've seen the moon in Kendra position from Rahu Ketu or moon with Rahu Ketu, we can definitely understand, because Rahu Ketu is giving some aspects to it, and moon, of course, there is also square aspects and all in Western astrology. So moon is 4th house or 10th from Rahu, it's a square aspect basically. Very weird behavior. Of course, I'm not saying they're all mentally challenged and all those mental people and all those things, not. But different types of, you can see in chart of yours or your friends or your relatives, or see when these people have those combinations, you will see some different types of behavior. Now, when I said moon is from 4th from Rahu or moon is 10th from Rahu, that means if you put moon as the first house, what will happen? Rahu Ketu will be either in the 1st 7th axis or 4th 10th axis. So moon is in the 4th 10th axis. See, when it is moon is in the Rahu, moon is in the 4th house from Rahu, you can say that 4th and 10th house is what? Real estate, homeland property, vehicle, issues with mother, job issues. These are all basically related to 4th house and 10th house themes. Okay. So moon 4th from Rahu, that means moon is at the northernmost point. And if you put moon as the Lagna, where will be Rahu then? Which house will be Rahu?
In 4th house, right?
No, moon is 4th from Rahu.
Oh, then 10th house, yeah.
10th house. Ketu will be in the 4th house. So automatically that tells problems associated with your 4th house and the 10th house. And then Kapil pointed that even I had the same combination in my chart, which I never realized that. Okay, I said, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Now, one thing I want to add here, Aditya, is that of course, any planet 10 from Rahu is karmic, anyways.
Correct.
In fact,
correct.
they say that Rahu's unfulfilled desire. Any whatever planet is with respect to Rahu, 10,000 Rahu for sure, it's going to be important.
Correct.
Now, also
Because why 10th from Rahu? Because moon is at the southernmost point.
exactly right. Yeah, exactly at the southernmost point for sure. So planets that you'll have to work karmically for sure, guaranteed to happen for sure. And also there is the concept of as you mentioned, squares in Western astrology. They consider planets in square as having influences. In fact, in square aspects in the Western astrology considered to be a problematic aspect. Actually.
Problematic aspects, yes.
Yeah, so they consider you'll have to deal with the problem no matter what. Or in Vedic thing, you basically will have to deal with the karma no matter what. So there's no escape from that.
Correct.
So what is on that also there is something called as Kendra Sambandha or Trikon Sambandha actually. So Kendra Sambandha is something in which planets in squares or planets in Kendras to that original planet, especially if the degrees are closer, it becomes very that those planets are linked according to Parashara and all that. The same thing, even the planets are in trine or Trikon Sambandha, those planets are linked also.
Correct.
That is also one more thing they say. And in fact, you can even do yogas and all that. You can actually calculate yogas and all that from there.
Correct.
So this is very interesting. So here, let me put it this way. Astronomically, when they say from Rahu, if moon is in the 10th house, then you are saying that literally moon is in the southernmost point. And then you are now saying...
No, wait. Go ahead.
So from Rahu as when you're from Rahu as the Lagna, moon
Correct.
is in the 10th house. So moon is literally in the southernmost point as far as the declination thing is concerned. Then so you're saying that definitely a real estate kind of challenges, home related challenges, that kind of thing you can see for sure.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Now that's so, and then and of course that's a very interesting point. So then you can
correct. For example, if someone has got say Rahu in Aries and moon is in Cancer.
Yeah.
Okay, what does that mean? From Rahu, moon is 4th, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Rahu is in Aries, 10 degrees, let's say. Rahu is in Aries, 20 degrees. Rahu in Aries, 20 degrees. Moon is 20 degrees of Cancer, let's say.
Right.
That means moon is at the northernmost point.
Right.
Okay. And basically from moon, you have Ketu in the 4th house and Rahu in the 10th house.
Yeah.
So definitely these people have to deal with something like mother issues or something like that.
Right.
So it is now the point is, see, Rahu and Ketu are basically points. So what I have seen, maybe I will show you some charts where Indira Gandhi, if you take, moon is with Rahu in Sagittarius. Charles Manson and Ted Bundy, all psychological issues people. Of course, I am saying that this doesn't hold that everyone has psychological problems. Okay, don't take that. I also have that, so don't say me that I'm also psychological mad. Maybe I may be, who knows. But Charles Manson and Ted Bundy are not like that, who kill so many people and all. But again, moon with Rahu in Capricorn, moon with Ketu in Scorpio. Again, they are same with Rahu Ketu axis. You can see. Homi Baba, definitely, he has also got moon with Rahu in Taurus. So, and we know that he was the father of nuclear program in India. Stephen Hawking, moon with Rahu in Leo. So there are some great people with that. Okay, M.K. Gandhi ji again, moon with Rahu in Cancer. Harshad Mehta, another guy which we know, he was a big in share markets and all back in the year 91 or 92. I don't somewhere. Moon with 10th from Rahu basically. So there are some charts like that. Now, as I said, Arjun Mehta have kept it a little bit different, because when you say, see, when you have Rahu in 20 degrees of Aries, then the point exactly northernmost is Cancer at 20 degrees. But then you have to say 20 degree plus minus 15 degrees, signs, because that's why we are taking that 30 degree. That house, when I say, is like, from point to point, if you consider. For example, if moon is at 20 degree Cancer and Rahu is at 10 degree Aries, then definitely it is the most prominent point. Then that is the topmost or northernmost point. Then you will have its effects very severe. But little bit here and there, you should take that too into consideration.
So I think Harshad Mehta was a scam guy, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Scam guy.
Yeah.
Exactly. So those things you see. So basically, so look those positions here, and we know that it's not a big thing that we don't know about the square aspects and the 90 degree 4th house planetary effects. But especially when you have this with Rahu Ketu, 4th from Rahu or 10th from Rahu, it's very significant. Why? Because that shows the declination effect. Moon is at the northernmost point or the southernmost point. And what is moon? Connected with your mind, connected with your thoughts, connected with your, so Manso Jatak, mind and mental capabilities are all seen from moon. So definitely that has to play a role. So if you say what is our takeaway points, the takeaway points is Alcyon, which is Kritika Nakshatra, where frequent lunar occultations happen, is where moon exalts. So that's why maybe these people, because so much frequent lunar occultations happen, that's why they must have given exaltation at Alcyon, who knows. Antares is the next one, next second frequent lunar occultation, where moon debilitates. And then if you take it then into consideration, if you consider the total number of occultation, then comes after Alcyon and Antares, it was the number of Aldebaran. And Aldebaran still though far, but still moon tries to meet the star Aldebaran and occult it. So that was one conclusion which we had to understand about, scientifically take the data and try to understand this number of occultations and all, and try to see whether really what it is and how it works. And the other thing which we saw that 4th from moon, or moon 4th from Rahu or 10th from Ketu, that means moon is at the northernmost point. So we can have severe moon effects there. You can see the person's mental, just check person's mental ability and all those things. Moon 10th from Rahu or 4th from Ketu, that means moon is at the southernmost point. Again, it will have different effects there too. So in an overall, since Indian astrology is always, we talk about longitude, but now something we have to take up also about declination effects, the north-south motion of the planets, and try to see whether they have any effects or not. I know Western astrology does that too, a little bit. Now we also have to see, especially with Rahu, Ketu and all, one has to see it. Because that's what, because what is Rahu, Ketu? Rahu, Ketu is nothing but connected to moon finally. It's a lunar nodes. Okay, so declination effects becomes important too, and then try to see that in the chart. So pay special attention to this positions, if moon 4th from Rahu or 10th from Ketu, or moon 10th from Rahu or 4th from Ketu, anyone. That has to give some special results for in the chart. Okay, and then we have to discuss more. Of course, this is just a beginning. As I said, we need to learn more. Happy to take any questions, but this I just thought maybe I should discuss this. It's a technical topic, I understand probably, so it will be a little bit difficult for beginners. I apologize for that, but research is research. We have to go forward.
No, Aditya, I think this is great what you shared about initially about the occultation part. I don't think anyone has talked about that. Probably it was discussed about, you might have, I read about occultation part being discussed before, but occultation 100% you actually show the data points, which was fascinating. So you could actually see the number it was getting occult and all that, which was great. Also how you mentioned the exaltation part with more occultation, perhaps that is the reason why they're saying moon is getting exalted in Kritika, moon is getting debilitated in Antares or Scorpio. That kind of thing is interesting for sure. And of course, I think the declination thing is huge. I think it's a matter of time. Not many, as you correctly said, not many astrologers, at least in the Vedic astrology community, haven't started to look into declination thing. I think this is going to be the future for sure, at least for sure. And then definitely a lot more points will come forth and all. I mean, I think this is all going to open up a huge research in the future for sure.
Yeah. True. So that's what, it's a research area, that's what we are here for. Yes, thank you. Thanks for, I think this was my last slide, and thanks once again for all the listeners who are patiently listening, trying to understand this complex topic and patient with us.
Yeah, it'll be good if the viewers can also comment if they make any observation with Rahu from moon or 10th from 4th from Rahu, all that kind of thing.
Absolutely. And thank you for our last video. I think there were some comments which I also replied, but thanks for again viewers to put their comments and their time and all. Same thing, as much as possible I will also reply them, but thank you. Thanks. Yes, Dr. Faiz, for your keeping.
Thank you, Aditya. I would like to hold on to this slide. There are certain things that I've just been observing, and I was listening with all attention. This is absolutely a stunning and a fascinating research that you have brought forward. Now, some things that I wanted to add in addition to what you have said about lunar occultations. Now, as you said about lunar occultations um, is not the only thing that happens, with it happens with these 5 stars that you have already mentioned. There is also occultations that happen with the stars, with the planets as well. I think there is also research and study that is being done, like certain planets like Jupiter and Venus can occult these certain stars at certain times.
Yep.
So that will also be a very interesting thing. But moon being the closest to the Earth, and it is much easier to observe the data points from the moon's perspective. And definitely moon has a greater influence on us who, on the Earth. Now, some of the interesting things that that you brought up is, one, you talked about the metonic cycles of 18.5 or 19 years.
Correct.
Now, I would also be interested in knowing if Saturn could also play an important role besides the Rahu and Ketu, and where was Saturn when these occultations were happening? Because if you generally think, I mean, this is just a a thought that came to my mind. If you're looking at metonic cycles, which is typically 18.5 or 19 years, and what I am given to understand, you can correct me because you're an astronomer. What I've been given to understand is in these metonic cycles, so after 19 years or 18.5 years, all the eclipses or even the timing of the eclipses will happen on the same day as it had happened 19 years ago or 18.5 years ago. Okay. Is it true?
It's not the same day, but not same date, but around that.
Around that.
Yeah.
And what I've also heard is, if you say, let us say September 7th, if September 7th, the phase of the moon was, let us say, Chaturdashi, then after 18.5 years, 19 years, also you would say that almost that day would be Chaturdashi.
Exactly.
And means it will be Shukla Paksha Chaturdashi. So that
19 years. 19 years. That is 19. So every 19th birthday, 30th birthday, 57th birthday, your moon, where it was, will be in the same nakshatra and the same tithi will be there.
Exactly. So there will be a coincidence.
Correct. Absolutely.
Then one more interesting topic that that you mentioned about these 5 stars, and I was looking at, is the declination. And yeah, I think you have already given the declination. There are 2 stars which are in the declination, which is above the ecliptic, which is Magha Nakshatra, and the other is Kritika Nakshatra, which is Alcyone, and you have Regalis.
Correct.
And 3 stars which are below the ecliptic, which is, we have Chitra, we have Spica, and we have we have Spica, which is Chitra, we have Antares, which is Jyeshta, and we have Aldebaran, which is Rohini.
Yep.
Now, when I look at these nakshatras, there is something which is very interesting that I observe. One, also the nakshatra mukha, which means in which direction these nakshatras are facing. If you look at the one in the northern of the north of the ecliptic, Magha and Kritika, both of them are adhomukha nakshatras, which means they are facing downwards.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Then the next, when you come below the ecliptic, you come to Chitra, because you see it is 2 degrees declination below the ecliptic. Then you come to Jyeshta, which is minus 4 degree declination. Okay. These 2 nakshatras are called as Triyanka Mukha, which means they are facing forwards, Chitra and Jyeshta.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Now we can hear you.
We lost you in between. I think we lost you at 2 degree part actually. From the we lost you.
So we see Chitra is 2 degree declination from the ecliptic. Then we have Jyeshta, which is a 4.5 degrees.
Correct.
Okay. So both these nakshatras are Triyanka Mukha, which means they are facing forward.
Okay.
And Rohini is the only nakshatra amongst them which is facing upwards, and which it is going to almost 5.4 degrees declination below the ecliptic. farthest, but still it is facing upwards. It's a nakshatra which is facing upwards. That is an interesting observation I made. Then okay, sorry, I think
I was lost, or what happened?
I think at the internet there is a problem. I said before I joined us also. Okay. Finally, to conclude, what I wanted to add with this research is one interesting topic you brought about the Kendra from Rahu.
Correct.
Now, the Kendra houses are, we have the 4th, 7th, and 10th. And the first is both a Kendra as well as a Trikona. And because it's a Kendra and Trikona, the first house is also kind of a Yoga Karaka because it holds both a Kendra house and a Trikona house. So for anybody's chart, Lagna will never be malefic for anybody, functional malefic for anybody. It's always a benefic because it is holding both a Kendra and a Trikona. Now, we know that, the Kendra bhavas are called as Vishnu Sthana. And Vishnu is the one who actually beheaded Rahu and Ketu. He split Rahu and Ketu. So there is some interesting connection that we see with Vishnu Sthana because 5 and 9 is called as Lakshmi Sthana. Lakshmi's houses are 5 and 9 and Vishnu's houses are 4, 7, 10. One, you can say it is both Vishnu and Lakshmi. So if you see that any of these combinations of the 5th with the 7th or 10th with the 9th, any of these combinations, they are called as these combinations will create a lot of Raja Yogas. It's called as even Lakshmi Narayan Yogas because Lakshmi and Narayan are coming together. So who can protect you from any of these things that we are seeing with these occultations is probably Vishnu avatar, and Dasha avatars of Vishnu can maybe protect you. Also, what will be interesting from this research to see is also the transit of Rahu and Ketu, and to see in the transits people who have their moon in the Kendras from the transit Rahu, what effect it will have on them. Now, for example, Rahu and Ketu, let's take an example that you took. Let Rahu be in Aries as it is now in the transit and Ketu be in Libra. You said when the moon is in the 4th bhava, which is Cancer, it would be in the topmost position, typically in north part.
Correct.
Now, it is interesting to see that Rahu is usually behaves better in Upachaya bhavas, 3rd, 6th, 10, 11. If you see 3rd, 6th, 10, 11 from the natural zodiac, that will be Mercury signs and Saturn sign. That is where Rahu will behave much better in Saturn signs and Mercury signs, the natural zodiac. So it will be interesting to also note what will happen when moon is in 3, 6, 10, 11 from the Rahu's position.
What you said is correct because I've also seen many charts when the moon Rahu, I've talked about 4-10 axis and 1-7, but also 5th, 9th axis is also very important. That whole series of talks can be done on that. Maybe another whole video about different chart, different personalities, strong personalities having this 1-5-9 combination of moon with Rahu Ketu. Of course, with other planets also has to be seen, but that's a strong, because it's again Lakshmi Sthanas, as you said, and Trikon Sthanas. That also plays a very important role, no doubt.
And there is a Nadi rule. You can test this. Nadi rule is take the degree of your Rahu. That will be the same degree of your Ketu. Doesn't matter. Any of them, you take the degree. Look at if there is any other planet in the same degree as your Rahu or Ketu. And especially if it is in the Kendras, that will have a great effect on you and it can negatively impact you or negatively impact that planet which is at the same degree of Rahu and Ketu. Now, I would also add to this Nadi concept, just try this technique. Let us say your Rahu is at 10 degrees of Aries. Then definitely look at what nakshatras are falling at 10 degrees of Cancer, 10 degrees of Libra, and 10 degrees of Capricorn. Those nakshatras which are falling at 10 degrees of wherever Rahu's degree lies will have some blemish, or you will see certain events that are happening in your life when Moon is transiting these points. These are Nadi concepts that I had learned many, many years ago, which is, I would say maybe 7, 8 years ago. These are concepts. Just try this, test this. So whenever you're looking at a chart, look at the degree of your Rahu, see if there is any other planet within 1 degree, plus or minus from the degree in any house. But specifically, if that planet is in the Kendra houses, then the impact of that Rahu will definitely be there on that planet. And similarly, if there is no planets, assuming that at that degree in any of the Kendras, look at the nakshatra which falls in the backdrop of that degree in that Kendra houses. And watch when Moon is transiting, these points, what happens in your life. And maybe if you start making notes and recording the events that are happening when this is happening, probably you'll appreciate this technique that Dr. Togi has taught us today. Okay.
Interesting. And the other point which you said, Dr. Pai, when you said Amavasya yoga happening at these points.
Yes, I did mention that as well. So for anybody who is seeing an Amavasya yoga happening at the 4th, or from the Rahu, when Sun and Moon are together in the 4th house, that is Amavasya. Those also can impact them very, very strongly if it is happening anywhere near the degrees of your natal Rahu. So look at your natal Rahu degrees, and if Amavasya is happening around that degree in the year, then you will always see that Amavasyas would be very, very prominent for you.
Correct. Amavasya happening at Rahu, that means it is an eclipse day, no
Correct.
doubt.
Correct.
Amavasya happening on the 4th house, as you said, very significant. Amavasya happening 7th from Rahu, again it's an eclipse day,
Yes.
because it is with Ketu there. And Amavasya yoga happening 10th from Rahu, again significant, because Amavasya yoga happening at the northern and southernmost points.
Southernmost points, exactly. So you have at the two ends of the spectrum, you have the eclipses happening.
Correct.
Let us look at the northernmost and the southernmost points. Also, those Amavasyas also might be very significant for you. So you have many takeaways to study in your charts now from all of these discussions that we have done.
Dr. Pai, I also want to add on the Moon Saturn link, which you mentioned before, like Moon and Saturn. So Moon rotates around the zodiac in 28 days or 29 days, and then Saturn rotates around the zodiac in 28 to 29 days. So perhaps there is some other link there also possibly. So like the analysis.
There could be, why I was guessing that is probably it could have a link is because we are talking about metonic cycles. We know that in Vimshati Dasha, Parasha Rishi,
Right, yeah.
18 years for Rahu and 19 years for Saturn.
Yeah.
So it would be interesting to see the next level to add on top of already what research, Aditya has done, to see where was Saturn with respect to these Rahu and Ketu positions during these occultations that were happening. Is there some additional information that can be understood from these occultations and maybe something that is for further?
Yeah, it'd be wild if Vimshati Dasha could be calculated purely from astronomy, be wild. But yeah.
No, but what you mentioned about Amavasya, because that's exactly in my chart, because 4th from Rahu, I have Amavasya, perfect Amavasya at that. And especially during Moon Dasha, Sun was okay, but especially in Moon Dasha, oh my gosh, it was horrible for me. Perfect Amavasya, 4th from Rahu, Moon Dasha I was in entire 10 years, I was in hospital.
Right.
So very significant. I think out of all the dashas I have experienced so far, moon dasha I cannot forget till now. Those
So
10
maybe
years of my life.
so the transit Amavasyas are always important, but also natal Amavasyas, both
Yep.
from Rahu, can make it more challenging
Oh
also.
my gosh, I was like, can't forget those days. Taught me many things, but definitely the significant dasha so far. Moon dasha was really, sun dasha was not that problematic, but moon dasha was. Who says moon is calm and quiet? Nope.
Right.
But anyway, that's that's very interesting point about Amavasya happening at 4th and 10th house from Rahu.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also,
Sorry, again, yeah.
here is just observe the their nakshatras and their deities also associated where the lunar occultations are frequently happening. Now, just to also add to additionally, maybe Aditya, you can correct me again. I'm not an astronomer. This is my very, I would say, preliminary information that you can say. Is occultations usually happen in a band which is between either 3 degrees from above the ecliptic and below the ecliptic, somewhere between 0 degrees to about 5 degrees? That's
Yes.
the band, right? It cannot
Yes.
happen beyond that.
No.
5.5 degrees declination.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So that would be interesting. Then one more thing is look at all the deities of these nakshatras. We said Rohini, which is under Prajapati, which is Brahma, the universal creator. Kritika nakshatra, which is Agni. Agni is what brings the fire. Then look at Chitra nakshatra, which is Paika, which is Vishwakarma. Again, he is like Prajapati, who's elevated or Twasthar. Then look at Antaras, which is Jeshta nakshatra, which is Indra. Okay. And lastly, Magha, which is the Pitris. So if you really see these kind of, there is a link between, Prajapati, Indra, Pitris. So there is an Agni. So kind of most of the rituals that we do are probably related to these nakshatras, I feel.
I think it's mostly like life, because we need Brahma, of course, life giver.
Is creation.
Again, then we have what you say, fire.
Yeah, fire.
Vishwakarma, again, formation, and they say fetus growth and all those connected with Spica and all those. Spica itself is belly of the Virgo lady, Virgin lady. So again, create something related to creation, because we need fire, of course, for creation. Prajapati. Then we have Chitra, which is there, and then Indra for support of life, and Pitris. Pitris are our own, without Pitris, how we will come.
Yeah.
So Pitris we need, and definitely Indra. Now Indra is like, the support. I don't know what is Indra, but how that fits into.
The king of the gods, and he brings the fresh waters. Remember, Indra.
Fresh water, yeah. Yep.
Fresh waters. See, Agni we have. Indra is like the god of the rain. So he brings the fresh waters to the earth, because of which there is life here on the earth. So we have Agni, which gives you heat. We have waters which we need, which is sustaining for us. We have Prajapati, we have our Pitris. And in my view, maybe Chitra, in my view, maybe can be connected even with Vishnu, who kind of maintains and preserves everything for us, like Twasthar, who is constantly, making things and creating parks, lakes, whatever, and the weapons of the deities and spacecrafts or whatever. So maybe there is a lot of connection with Chitra with to do with design and architecture.
Yeah, and Vishwakarma is a Vishnu himself, right? It's like a Vishnu. He's one of
Yeah,
the
in fact,
Adityas.
with if you look at if you divide the Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva nakshatras, if you categorically do that, Chitra nakshatra the most Vishnu nakshatra of them all, actually. So that also makes sense in that regard.
Yes.
So that's interesting for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I want to add also, Dr. Pai, in the nakshatra that you mentioned, if you consider Chitra as falling in Libra Pada, you will see the Rohini Nakshatra and Aldebaran Kritika Nakshatra is falling in Earth sign, and then Regulus is falling in fire sign, Jeshta is falling in water sign, and then the Chitra is falling into air sign. So it's like interesting, this at least some 5 elemental thing is happening there, actually 4 elemental kind of thing is at least being balanced there actually. So that was interesting. So
Yeah,
that was
this is
interesting.
this
Yeah.
is Earth. This is fire.
Yeah.
This is again Spica is again Earth, correct?
Yeah,
Virgo
no,
is
Spica. Yeah, but again, Virgo. Remember, it's at the exact border between
correct.
this
Yeah,
thing,
yeah. So it's
Virgo
air. You
and
can say
yeah,
air,
air and earth.
water,
Yeah, yeah,
and then again this is again Earth because Taurus.
And also, if you just want to really explore a little more, we were discussing this also. If you look at it, Aldebaran is Rohini, which is the yoni is connected to serpents.
right.
And then Regalis is the rat, which is, Magha Nakshatra, which is the rat, the yoni. So serpents and rats are kind of inimical, right? Then look at Spica. Spica is Chitra, which is the yoni is the tiger. Antaras, which is Jyeshtha Nakshatra, yoni is deer. Tiger and deer, they are also inimical, or they are kind of naturally they don't kind of
Correct.
be
Yeah.
friendly. So the lone star there, which looks very thing, is Alcyone, which is Kritika, which is the goat.
But which is also tiger, eaten by tiger.
Yeah. So the sheep or the thing is inimical. So here it looks like Aldebaran and Antares, Spica. They look like the ones that are the predators kind of.
Mm. And remember, Aldebaran and Antares are both special. Special means it's exactly opposite to.
Yeah, and that's why I think our ancients called Antares as the Rohini of the southern
south. Yes, south, because it is in the southern part too.
Southern part. Exactly. Okay, so I think this
anyways,
is fantastic.
yeah.
This is great. We had a great discussion today, and I hope there are a lot of takeaways for our viewers. So I want to thank Dr. Aditya Togi for coming.
Thank you.
A lot of time to put all of these slides together. So really appreciate. And please share your comments about what you would like to see in the comment box so that we can come more prepared. And next, I would expect, Sandeep would be coming up with another series. Guru Purnima lecture. What would be next? So let's hope.
Maybe we should try to arrange you also, Dr. Pai. Maybe we should interview you for a Guru Purnima lecture. Maybe.
Yeah. Let's see. We can probably do a group session with the. If Eve G and Kapil also wants to, contribute to the event like that. Okay. Anyway, thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Sure. Thanks.
Namaste. Bye bye.